My name is Annette. You may also notice that my name for YouTube is Christy Road 91. Christy Road is, if you don't already know, it's a song by Green Day, and they're my favorite band. If I keep this up and if you keep watching, you'll quickly learn that my love for Green Day goes far and beyond what it should. So I am, like I said, I'm Annette. I am an aspiring music journalist. So this kind of goes into that category. I'm going to try and start this vlogging and ranting kind of thing. Hopefully I'm going to try to line it up with my actual blogs, which is on WordPress, and it is called The Tracks at Christy Road. I also have a Tumblr blog, also called The Tracks at Christy Road. Maybe if one of you guys are one of my followers and you come across it, how cool would that be? Then you'd figure it out. There's some symmetry there. But yeah, and so I want to kind of start blogging about some of my rampages and concert going and music and stuff I like, which is pretty much music. So for this one, to start off with, because it's something I did recently, I want to talk about Warped Tour. Just some kind of history on me. Obviously, if you can't tell, my favorite kind of music is alternative music, so something like Warped Tour is perfect for me. I have been to every Warped Tour since 2006, when I was 14, and this has been my 8th Warped Tour that I just went to. And so I've been to it a lot, and it's a lot of fun for me, and I really enjoy it. Okay, so for this Warped Tour this year, to start it off, I wasn't entirely excited with the lineup for this year. There was a lot of bands I wanted to see that weren't exactly coming to the show that I was going to. Like, I would have killed to see the Swellers, which, again, if this keeps going and I keep talking, and if you ever look at my blog, you'll learn that I have this weird obsession with the band The Swellers. They're wonderful. But there were still plenty of bands that I wanted to see that made it worth going to the show. So yeah, this year was actually a lot of fun. It started out really well. Like last year I went to Warped Tour and the weather got up to over 100 degrees and it was just miserable. It almost made the experience not even worth it, even though there was an awesome lineup last year. But this year, the high was like 82 degrees and it was beautiful outside. And so I got there kind of late. I normally get there really early, and I'm really early in the line, and that didn't really work out very well. But I had a cell phone to give, and if you guys don't know anything about Warped Tour, they have this thing called the Feed Our Children Now tent. You go there and you give a donation of $5, 3 canned goods, or a used cell phone. You can get in early with a skip the line pass, and you can get in at 10:30 instead of 11, which is what I did, and it was actually wonderful. I even got my bag checked by Kevin Lyman, which was pretty crazy. Like, he was standing next to me and that was how I started my morning. So I got inside, I got my schedule, I had to decide between whether I wanted to see Hawthorne Heights or Silverstein. I had seen Hawthorne Heights twice before. I'd seen Silverstein once before. It had been longer since I'd seen Silverstein, so I went with Silverstein. But it was worth it to go see Silverstein. The only thing that was unfortunate was on my way there, I ran into one of the monks on Warped Tour, and they were trying to convince me to buy like 3 books. I guess not buy them, but take them and then give them a donation. And I was like, it's okay, this isn't really my thing. But thank you, I'm gonna move on. And they're like, no, just can you at least take one and give us something? And I just, like, he was so insistent I had to. Like, I don't know if you've dealt with this before, but it's like one of the worst parts about Warped Tour. So I went to go see Silverstein, and they were just amazing. I was kind of a loser in the crowd, that even though I've liked Silverstein for about 7 years, I knew like 2 songs. Well, I mean, I knew more than that. I knew the words to about 2 songs. So I felt kind of like a loser, but you know, I had a blast, and there was a lot of young kids there, so it was kind of exciting to be like, oh my god, they're like the same age I was the first time I saw Silverstein. What nostalgia this is, and how old I feel right now. Quick little story, the first year I went to Warped Tour, I saw Silverstein. They were the last band I saw that day, and after their set, they were signing stuff. Well, Shane was signing stuff. Shane told the lead singer, and my friend went up and she had her bag already and she got it signed, and I was still scrambling to find something for him to sign, and as I was scrambling and as I was walking towards him, he walked away after signing my friend's bag, and my friend, of course, you know, rubbed it in my face. So I had to get Shane's signature. That was kind of the goal for the day. The next thing I did, I didn't actually go see another band for a while. I went straight to a bunch of signings. I went to go try to find William Beckett signing, and in the process of trying to find William Beckett signing, I just happened to walk by Hawthorne Heights tent while they were doing a signing. And I was like, oh my god, I feel so bad for missing their set. And there was like no line because it was like the end of their signing. So I just kind of hopped in line. But they were really sweet too, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to be like, hey guys, what's up? I didn't go to your show, but, you know, hi. I did eventually find out where William Beckett was having his signing, and probably more exciting than actually meeting William Beckett, which was awesome, by the way. But more exciting than that was before William Beckett showed up, this one girl named Juliet Simms. I'm not a big fan of like Automatic Love Letter, but if you know who they are, you probably know who I'm talking about. She's from that band. She was doing a signing, and there was like a bunch of people lined up, and there was a couple girls in front of me, and I was like not sure if they were there to meet William Beckett, but they were wearing like Black Veil Bride shirts, so I kind of assumed they probably weren't. They were actually there to give a letter to Juliet Simms, and so I was standing in line going, oh, okay, whatever, and then I see this guy, it kind of looks like he's from Black Veil Brides, walk by, and I'm like, oh, you know what, that is that guy from Black Veil Brides, like, I think he was the lead singer, I think so, I might be wrong. Walked by, and the girl in front of me was like so freaking out about trying to get this letter to Juliet. It just wasn't working, and like they weren't letting her through just to hand her the letter. So she stops this guy from Black Veil Brides, and she's wearing her Black Veil Brides shirt, and is like saying, oh, they won't let me through. Can you help me get this letter to Juliet? And he calls over a friend, and they get the letter to her, and it's really awesome. It's very sweet, but she doesn't even notice until he walks away, and her mom's like, you realize who that was, right? And like she clicks in her brain, and she's like, oh my god. And it was just funny to me because if people actually watch this, I'm getting so much hate for this, but I can't stand the Black Veil Brides. I recognized him, and this girl who's their fan is wearing like probably his face on her shirt, didn't notice because she was so worked up about the letter. It was just funny. It kind of made my day. I'm not making fun of this girl. I just thought it was amusing to see that. It was funny to see how excited she got. It was kind of cute. After that, met William Beckett. You know, I got my picture with him. It was a little awkward for me because I was just nervous and didn't know how to ask for a picture because I had to be the first person in line, of course. I didn't do that intentionally. I had time to spare. And after that, I actually ran over and got in line to meet Silverstein, and I met them, and they were super, super sweet. They were just talking to me and telling me how cool it was that I got these little cardboard things to stick my CDs in, because I'm that paranoid about scratching them, and I didn't have a case. I even explained the whole thing about why I had them, and they were just so cool. And while I was meeting them, I was kind of like jittery and ready to leave, because Motion City Soundtrack, again, if you would ever know me or anything like that, Motion City Soundtrack is a band that I really, 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 really love. So I was really excited to go to their set, and their set was happening at the same time that the signing was. So like, I'm like, let's get through the signing, let's get through this. I mean, I love you guys are amazing, but I gotta go see Motion City Soundtrack. So like, I finished the signing and I ran over to Motion City Soundtrack, and as I'm getting there, they're playing LG Flawed, and I'm just singing as I'm walking up there, and it was just awesome. So I sang to every other song they played. So I had a blast going and seeing them and dancing and singing. And when I was done with them, I went to go see the Early November. They're great. I saw them my first year I went there. But I only saw them for about 3 songs. I barely knew who they were. I only knew the song Hair. And I just loved that song, so I needed to go see them for a little bit. So I did. So this year, now that I've bought some of their CDs, including their latest CD, Incurrence, which if you're into that kind of music and you don't have that CD, you need to get it because it's amazing. It's a wonderful CD. And so I got to see them, and I didn't know all the words to all the songs, but I did this thing where, like, when it got to the chorus and I could kind of figure out what was going on, I just kind of caught on and jumped in. But they were really fun to see as well. I had a blast seeing them. They were a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I need to see William Beckett. I have to, and I'm so glad that I did. His show was amazing. It was small, but it was so much fun. So we got there, he played some songs. I didn't know very many of them. Like, I mean, actually, that's not true. I knew all of them. I just didn't know the words to any of them. I'd only listened to them maybe about once or twice each from listening to his EPs that I've downloaded. And he's just such a good singer, and he's just such a goofy kind of guy. And he was a lot of fun to watch. And he even played a song by the Academy he played About a Girl, which I was kind of bummed that he didn't play when I knew better, because that's like the one CD I don't have by them. But I knew the song kind of, so that helped. And there was a lot of guest singers. There was Matt Thiessen from Lion King, and he came up and sang a song with him, and that was really fun. And then he got the guy that ran the whole Acoustic Basement tour, which was a 10th thing. And I think this is the guy that got like electrocuted like a few days later, which was horrible. and I'm glad that that guy's okay, because he was actually really fun to watch with William Beckett. And then as soon as I done with William Beckett, I was maybe going to go meet him again, but I'm like, no, that feels kind of selfish. I don't need to meet him or like hang out with him like a third time today. Like, it just doesn't need to happen. So I sat there and contemplated it for a while, but then I just went straight and went to go see Dickie and the Kids Table, which I'd seen a couple of years prior. They're not a band that I listen to a whole lot, but when it's summertime and I really want to listen to something awesome, I have their Strictly Rude album, and I'll just pop it in, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. And they're kind of like, if they're at Warped Tour, you kind of have to go see them, because it's ska and summer and summer festivals. It's just too much fun to miss. Like, it was a blast, because I'm just sitting there dancing, even when the kids pushed me out of the way, and I'm like, why are you starting a mosh pit right now? They weren't. They were just pushing me out of the way, and then they started ska dancing, and it was fantastic. It was wonderful. But it was kind of scary for a second there. I was like, why are you pushing me? It came down to the last band, and that was Never Shout Never, who are actually from Missouri, which I guess I haven't mentioned that. I'm from Missouri, and this is a Missouri show in St. Louis. And so they're from Joplin, and so it was really cool to see them, because they seemed kind of happy to be in their home state and play for kind of like a hometown-ish crowd, even though we're not Joplin, but we're close. We're not far. They don't do a show in Joplin. I guess Kansas City's closer. But they were incredible. Like, it wasn't what I expected. I'd read plenty of interviews with Christopher Drew, and he just seemed like a very serious person. But he wasn't. He was a total goofball. He was a joy to watch, and so were the other guys in the band. They're just so hilarious. Like, they kept making jokes with each other and with the crowd, and the songs they picked were fun. I have a few of their CDs. I never got hardcore into them except for with the What Is Love album. I really loved that one. So, and they only played one song off that one, so I was like, oh, it was the last song, so it was kind of epic. But yeah, so I mean, I was blown away by their performance. Christopher Drew is so talented. It's retarded. They're just a great band. Like, I don't care whoever's opinions about them. They're freaking wonderful. So it was a really surprisingly great day. The weather was wonderful. The bands were great. I think the only things that I can honestly complain about is just the overall lineup was just not so... It was interesting because I felt like there was a lot of younger kids there. Because I think it had to do with the lineup. The lineup felt like it was a bunch of bands that appealed more to a younger crowd than what I've seen in the past. And the thing I didn't get was the big bands that got the biggest crowds were these metalcore screamo bands, which I don't hate on screaming. Like I said, I like Silverstein. I even like Under Oath and stuff like that. But there's just a point where it's just too much. Like, I like my screaming in moderation, and I did see a couple of these bands. I saw Woe Is Me before Silverstein came on, and I saw Bless the Fall for a little bit before Never Shout Never came on. And I'm not even trying to be mean right now, but I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand how you can tell the difference between the songs, what's so appealing about it. So somebody's watching this and you like this kind of music, if you could just explain to me, either in a comment or a video response, and say what is so wonderful about this music, just tell me what you like about it so that maybe I can understand a little bit and not feel like, as much as I'm 21, I feel like I'm old because I don't get the young kids' music these days. I just don't get it. You know, it was a great experience. It definitely renewed my love of Warped Tour, especially after being so burnt out after last year because of just how horrible the weather was and stuff like that. It really renewed my oh my god, I love Warped Tour, I just have to keep going. So I'm so looking forward to next year. I guess I will be back on here soon. I want to try to get a video up every week, maybe every other week. There'll definitely be something hopefully about Panic at the Disco, because I'm going to go see them in a couple weeks. So if you like this, please share it with people, do what you can. I'm trying to kind of get my name out there so that I can work more in music because I love it so much.